Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live. Today we're talking about cravings and triggers. So this is a really important topic because cravings and triggers are one major reason that people go back to drinking. And something that I see a lot of times from people is that they drink and they don't understand what happened to them. And this is why it's important to know kind of what gets you. And if you had an experience recently where you drank and you wish you didn't, it's important to look back on that and think like, what got me? What was the thing that made me want to drink? Because even if you think that you're drinking just to socialize or you like to have fun, there's usually more behind it. Sometimes negative emotions or stress or past traumas will be the actual reason that you're drinking. So I would encourage you to kind of look back at your old drinking experiences and think like, what was the thing that made you want to drink? So welcome everyone who's joining. We are talking triggers and cravings. And if you have any questions that you want me to answer on the topic, then please let me know. Happy to answer questions. We also have Rudy, who's over here. He's ready to meow. So if you hear him, that's why. So for me, I told myself that I was a social drinker, that I did it to have fun, even though I was just drinking with my husband or drinking by myself in my house. I still told myself that I was a social drinker. And what I learned in sobriety is things that make me feel disrespected are what trigger me to drink the most. Or if people put me down or make me feel like I'm stupid or that I'm not valued, those kinds of things really make me want to drink. And knowing that is helpful because now I can take steps to kind of avoid those things, or if I do feel really triggered, then I can understand why. I always ask myself, like, who hurt you? And I can usually trace it back to a moment of disrespect or someone that put me down. People are often triggers in the way that they talk to us or the way that they treat us. So I got a couple questions. What substitutes do you use in social situations? In the beginning, I drank more soda water with lime than like anyone in Massachusetts. I would chug it. I would just sit there and chug it all night. I would have like multiple pints of soda water throughout the night, and that helped to always just have a drink. As I got more comfortable and when like I went out to parties and things, I would get some kind of mocktail or I would get a non-alcoholic beer. It's just really important that you're careful when you order those things because sometimes they can be the real thing. So if you're not comfortable with that, I wouldn't recommend risking it. Or if you get a non-alcoholic beer, I would ask to have the bottle or the can and pour it yourself if you want a glass, just so that you can be safe. How long were you drinking? I drank for 7 years. So I drank from 22 to 29, and then I quit in my 30s. Any other questions that you guys have about anything or about cravings and triggers that I can answer? My last break was 100 days. That's amazing. That's a really good break. Now I am on day 51. Congratulations. How many breaks did you take before you fully quit? So I quit for the first time. I was a daily drinker, and then I quit for the first time 5 years into my drinking. And I was worried that I was an alcoholic, and I went to therapy. And I asked, how do you know if you're an alcoholic? And she was like, I don't think that you are. But how about you don't drink for a week and then we'll see how that goes. So that was the first time I ever took a break. So 5 years into my drinking, I took 7 days off. And I was really scared to do it. I didn't know what I was going to do with my time. A major thing that I was talking about in therapy at that time is like, I don't understand what people do if they don't come home and drink all night. Like, what else do you do? And my therapist had 3 kids, and they were young, so she was very busy, like, doing mom stuff, and I'm not a mom, so, like, I couldn't, like, what she did at night didn't apply to me because she was just doing mom stuff, and I didn't have any mom stuff to do. So I just could not figure out what people did with their time. But I took those 7 days off because I really wanted to prove that I didn't have a problem. And once I proved it, and I told myself it wasn't that hard, if I had a problem, surely it would have been much harder to take a break. And then I continued on with what I was doing. And then 2 years after that, I started to have a lot of consequences, and I took 90 days off because I thought 90 days would be enough to cure me. I have another video about this on my YouTube channel, a few videos back for my birthday, so it was a month ago, where I talked about the 90-day challenge in a lot of detail. And I did it to cure myself so that I would be able to moderate after. Spoiler, it didn't work. And now here I am, 3.5 years sober. So I did 2 breaks, 1 7-day break and then 1 90-day break. Have you ever accidentally drank alcohol? And if so, how did you deal with the triggers that it brought up? So I was served real alcohol on my birthday last year, which is why I caution you about ordering things out, and just make sure that it's actually non-alcoholic. Have someone try it. Make sure you smell it first. Or don't get mocktails if you're not comfortable with that. And if you get non-alcoholic beer, like from now on, whenever I get a non-alcoholic beer, I always ask for the bottle or the glass and not for them to pour it, because I just want to confirm that it is what I ordered. I was served a real beer instead of a fake beer. And I took a couple sips and I felt like it was off, and I gave it to my husband to try, and he couldn't decide. And it's really hard to tell sometimes because the non-alcoholic stuff tastes very similar, but it was a real one, and it didn't trigger me. Non-alcoholic stuff doesn't make me want the real thing. Otherwise, I wouldn't drink it if it did. But I just felt upset. I felt like maybe I was going to go backwards, or like something was going to happen with my brain, and I was going to like reset my brain, and nothing happened. There were no consequences from it, and and I moved on with my life after that. So remember, your liver can process 1 standard drink an hour. So even if you accidentally had like 1 full drink, your liver would be able to take care of that. So I was really freaked out over a couple sips, but it just made me more cautious moving forwards. And I was 2.5 years in. If you're in the very beginning, just be super cautious when you order stuff and just confirm that it is non-alcoholic. That's my advice. I am a daily drinker and I don't want to continue. So I would recommend getting some support. So you could go to therapy. I think everybody listening needs to be in therapy. So go to therapy, and go to therapy with someone that specializes in helping people with their drinking. Psychology Today has a therapist finder tool that you can use to filter by your zip code and your insurance. You can also attend things like AA or Smart Recovery. I have a community. We would love to support you in there. We have people in all different stages of sobriety. So if you go to my website, soberpowered.com, and you click the join button, you can get more information on that. We have meetings 3 times a week and a very active, kind community of nice people. But if you don't want to continue, it's important to take steps to get support so that you can get off that path. Because when you're a daily drinker, you're going to have triggers to drink show up every day because that's what you're used to doing. But you can do it with support. So Basistas, I need a little tiny mic. You do. It's wonderful. Everyone loves the tiny mic. It makes people really happy. So I highly recommend you get one. I can send you the link later. What else do you do at home at night? I'm not like the most exciting person, so maybe I'm not gonna inspire you with my night. But some things that I do or have done at night instead of sit around and drink and watch TV, I go on walks with my husband. I do activities like you can do like a paint night, or you can paint pottery or things like that. I go out to dinner. You can do group fitness. I love group fitness. It's one of my favorite things right now. So you can go to a gym and do group fitness, and then you have an appointment, like a 6 or 7 o'clock class. You could go out with your friends. You could join meetings. We have night meetings, so sometimes I'm on meetings. I work a lot, so a lot of my time is spent working, which hopefully you're not doing. We have this new cat, Rudy, that maybe you guys have seen in my stories. So I spend a lot of time just kind of playing with Rudy and looking at how cute he is. I think when we're drinking, we need everything to be super exciting. And that was kind of my block when I was asking my old therapist, like, I don't know what regular people do at night. They just do regular old things. And we think that that's boring. But in sobriety, regular old things are fine. Our like tolerance for excitement is all thrown off because we're drinking. We need everything to be really big, and we want to drink to enhance everything. But when your brain gets used to not having alcohol around, regular stuff can become enjoyable. So maybe my whole list was just like, that was the most boring list I've ever heard. But to me, I really enjoy my life. I don't have to like try to celebrate everything anymore or like enhance things. I don't have huge highs and lows. I just live a stable life. So a lot of the things that you do at night when you don't drink, they might be similar to what you did when you were growing up, or they might just be like regular old everyday people things that we do to take care of our house or take care of our mental health. I think in the first 30 days especially, whatever you did while you were drinking is what you should not be doing. So I used to get drunk and watch TV every day. So when I stopped drinking, I stopped watching TV and I didn't go in my living room for 30 days. You have to disrupt that routine, or that routine's going to trigger you every day. Because sitting around and watching TV all night without alcohol is really boring. So I would feel the void every day and want to drink. So by doing completely different stuff that I wasn't used to doing, I wasn't having triggers in my life anymore. So I would recommend, like, whatever you're doing, don't do that. Do like literally anything else. Not craving or trigger related, but how do you deal with social situations being alcohol free? That's a hard one. So my barrier for socializing is a lot higher. I don't want to go to things as much anymore because they're boring, or drunk people are really annoying and I don't want to be around them. I'd rather just like stay home, talk to my friends online, go to the gym, play video games, hang out with my husband, hang out with Rudy. So my barrier is a lot higher for like when a social situation feels worth it. If I do have to go, or I want to go, I like going to things sober. I am in complete control over how I behave and what I say. I don't have to embarrass myself. I don't have to get sloppy. I think going to things sober made me realize that not everyone drank the way that I was drinking. And I was actually like the one that stood out before. So now I just feel very secure in myself. And I don't need to drink to fit in or drink to make things tolerable. But that takes practice, and you have to be willing to socialize without drinking to get that comfort level. But I promise you it's so much better, because getting drunk and blacking out and socializing or embarrassing yourself or getting sloppy and saying things that you regret later or texting people, like, that's not very fun. So now when you do it sober, you don't have to have any of that stuff in your life. I love not embarrassing myself. That is its own high. So I hope that you will give it a chance, and also recognize that like your drinking buddies may not stay your friends, and that's okay. It's okay for friendships to fade, especially when one person stops drinking and the other person is just like really obsessed with alcohol and wants to get drunk all the time. Like, you guys don't have anything in common anymore. Sometimes alcohol is the only thing that's holding a friendship together. So it's okay for those to change. Let me see. Any other questions, please let me know. Did you restart your count if you accidentally drank alcohol? No, because it wasn't my choice and I didn't have very much. And then I never had any ever again. So why would I reset my days if it wasn't my fault? If you decide to drink and then you drink and you drink a lot and you continue, then that's different. But that was an accident. That wasn't my fault at all. So no, I did not. Any other questions, guys? Just throw them in the comments. And if there are no more questions, then I will get off until the next one. But while you guys are here, if you haven't listened to my podcast, that's where my best stuff is. Like, my podcast takes a lot of work, and it's only 15 minutes. So it's shorter than this right now that you've been watching. So it's way better than this too. So I recommend checking out my podcast. It's called Sober Powered. And then I have a bunch of free stuff to help you. And then I have a community that you can join too. So if you don't have any support or you want to add some support, check out my community on my website. We would love to help you out and cheer you on. And one more question. So if you have any questions, pop them in the chat. 13 days after many day ones, how can I stop thinking about alcohol the whole time? In the beginning, you are going to think about it a lot, because most of us don't quit because we're just like sick of it. We quit because we like it way too much. If you're obsessing about alcohol, then I think that just means you need more support. There's a lot of work that has to be done in sobriety. Like, we have beliefs about why alcohol helps us, and we have to work through those beliefs, or why it's essential for our lives. So I would start to do some of that work with a therapist, ideally, or a sponsor if you do AA. I think you should also join a community to get support from people who get what you're going through and whose experience can help you learn some lessons. Over time, you're not going to think about alcohol as much. You might think about sobriety a lot, but that will balance out too. I thought about sobriety all the time, and now I have much more balance. So just know that like whatever you're going through right now is not what you're going to be going through forever. And try to get a new hobby. Find a passion project. Like, do stuff to your house. Like, do a house project. Decorate it or fix something. Go to the gym. Try to get some kind of passion in your life, and then you'll have something else that you can think about besides alcohol. Not a question, but a thank you. Your podcast really helped me through the beginning of my sober journey. I still look forward to new episodes. I really appreciate you listening and being a long-time listener, and I'm happy to hear that it is helping you. Day 13. My sleep is still restless. I toss and turn a lot. Will it get better in the near future? Yes, you are still technically in the withdrawal stage, which is like the first 2 weeks. So you're still kind of in that stage, and you're still pretty early. So one of the most common symptoms is insomnia. And that leads people to want to go back to drinking because they can't sleep. Your sleep will definitely improve, hopefully by the end of the first month. But if you listen to episode 75 of my podcast, I walk you through the timeline from sleep when we're still drinking up to 2 years of sobriety. So if you want to learn kind of what to expect and why this is happening, listen to episode 75. But it will definitely get better. You just have to work through this withdrawal stage. How long did you think about sobriety roughly? I was very, very obsessed with sobriety for the first year. Wicked obsessed with it. I was still heavily obsessed with it in year 2. And then I felt a turning point around year 2. And then when I hit my 3rd soberversary, then I really had balance and I had a full normal life. But it's okay to be obsessed with sobriety. It's not so much that you're obsessing about sobriety. We're obsessing about having a good life finally, and having freedom and being happy and having control over our lives and power to do whatever we want. So you're just obsessing about all the possibilities for your life. So I think a lot of people obsess about sobriety and then they want to find balance, aka drink. So look out for that. That will pop up maybe around milestones, but sober obsession is normal and it's not permanent. It'll go away. Think of it like a long pink cloud. Oh, sober-powered community member here. Hello. It was a blessing finding it. Thank you for being a member. We have the coolest members. They're so nice. I don't know how I got so lucky. We have no drama. Ever. What community has no drama ever? Especially when it's a community of former drinkers, right? We're filled with drama. So thank you guys, everyone who's in the community. If there are no more questions, I will let you guys get back to your day. I think I have 4 more lives coming up this month. So if you visit my page, you can RSVP to the other ones. But any other questions, there's a question box in my stories right now too. So you can ask a question. But I hope that you have a great day. And I'll talk to you in the next live.